Are you ready to go around the world? Sit back, relax, and buckle your seatbelt as we take off for an adventure. It's jet-lag free but filled full of fun and travel insights. The only thing you'll need to pack is a sense of humor. Time for the award-winning travel show, Around the World.
And welcome, Globetrotters and armchair travelers, to another edition of Around the World. I'm Arthur von Wiesenberger. Next to me is the stunning Martha Bull.
Hello.
And we also have a travel dog flying alongside us.
Polo.
She's serving the drinks.
That's right.
Right? Oh, maybe.
She's eating the snacks.
She's eating the snacks. Yeah, we're all eating the snacks today. By the way, did you try your snacks?
I haven't yet.
Those are all the way from ANA, because we're going to be going with ANA to Japan. One of the first things we're doing is we're going to go skiing in Japan, but we're going to fly first to Sapporo and go to the snow festival at Sapporo, and then we're going to take a train up to Niseko, which is a great powder ski destination.
I thought you flew.
Well, we did both.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, those came off the plane.
Okay.
And
I will try them.
Okay, you will try them. We're also going to be going with Max Hartshorne of GoNomad.com to the most amazing thing, skiing in Turkey.
Who knew?
Who knew? They have a big mountain there, and it's an unknown secret. You know,
And we're going to find.
We're going to reveal
share
it to you
that
today on Around the World. And then we have one of our dear friend. He is a true travel ambassador named Bill Benjamin, and he's going to tell us about a new app that he's created that is soon going to be rolling out onto the internet, and you're going to be the first to hear about it. So we got a lot going on this edition of Around the World. But first, it's time for Travel News. Travel News is brought to you by the internet website www.atw.tv, the first place to go, even to visit the last place on Earth. And Martha Bull, where is that last place on Earth?
Well, it's not really the last place on Earth, but just kind of an unusual situation.
Yeah.
A Lithuanian man flying to Italy got a pleasant surprise when he boarded the plane that he was flying to Italy. It was a 737-800. You know what? He was the only passenger on the entire plane.
Do you think people are just canceling because it's
What it was,
737?
apparently there were supposed to, there were 188 seats. He was the only one. Two pilots, five flight attendants, and apparently what had happened is a travel agency had booked the plane to fly from Italy back to the original destination. So to avoid flying an empty plane, they offered these one-way tickets, and he was the only one that bought one. So can you imagine?
The only guy.
You could spend the whole trip just moving from seat to seat. I don't think there's any first class, but if there was, I would hope that he'd move up there.
Well, maybe. Or maybe they'd say, no, I'm sorry, you don't have first class ticket. You got to sit in the back. All right. Well, it's great when you go to a hotel and they treat you as a VIP, and when they do a little extra, they go beyond the normal quality. I mean, anybody can give you a bed with pillows, right?
Right.
And maybe a coffee machine in your room and that kind of thing. But it's when they do those little extra touches that really make a trip memorable. And
that's a new word, rememberable?
Rememberable, yes. It's sort of memorable and remembering that word at the same time.
It's a good word.
Yeah, it's a good word. You can use it anytime. Yeah. The Red Carnation Hotel Collection has a number of hotels that do exactly that, and they really have some fun stuff. For example, there's the Egerton House Hotel, and that's where the staff welcomed Boo, who was a French bulldog.
Okay.
And Boo had a special birthday treat. Staff sent Boo a pet preference form and found out her favorite bedding and doggy treats and prepared them in the room for her arrival. Can you say Boo had the best kind of vacation? I mean, what a great thing for traveling with your dog, huh? I think that's a super idea. At the Old Government House Hotel in Guernsey, which we were talking about the other day on Around the World with Max. A mother and daughter were staying to celebrate the daughter's 21st birthday. The hotel supervisor's housekeeper created a brilliant turn down, which the guests absolutely loved. It says 21 on the beds, if you see it. And both the guests are already talking about coming back in the near future. Isn't that sweet?
Do you know those extra little things?
That makes such a difference. It was just so great. At the Duke of Richmond Hotel, after chatting to a group of 5 ladies during their check-in, the staff found out the girls are treating themselves to a pamper weekend together, kind of a girls' night out or whatever, a girls' weekend out. So they set out on a mission to provide them with some essentials. Champagne, chocolate, sweet treats, and face masks. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And finally, at the 12 Apostles Hotel and Spa, the staff hadn't seen Erciyes, which is a regular pet guest, in quite a while, only to find that he'd had some surgery and had 10 of his teeth removed.
Oh,
poor guy.
Erciyes.
So he was brought to the hotel for a bit of cheering up, and he enjoyed the ostrich burger. Oh my God, off the pet menu. Can you imagine an ostrich burger on the pet menu?
Yeah.
And then he had a little surprise what followed. It led to a lot of Instagram posts for Erciyes. He's got 11,000 followers on Instagram to see what a great time he was having. Look at our
look
little
how
friend
cute
Erciyes.
he
What a
is.
great little guy. But that's a neat thing. So check it out if ever you're looking for something special. The Red Carnation Hotel Collection seems to really turn it on for their guests.
That's super. Well, this is kind of a Debbie Downer after that.
Oh no!
Should we end on that?
Yeah, let's end on a Debbie Downer.
Yeah. Do you want me to talk about it? Okay. All right.
I'm sorry.
Well, I should have ended. We should have ended on that. Anyway,
Yes.
budget airline Ryanair. You know that's
I
the
know
one.
Ryanair.
And Wizz Air. Have you ever heard of Wizz Air?
Is that still in business?
Apparently,
Oh.
they're currently engaged in a legal battle in Italy
Yeah.
to determine whether or not it is misleading to charge passengers for their carry-on luggage. And apparently, they're going back and forth. And what people are saying, this group's the antitrust said that people are not being told that they're going to have to pay extra, and that it should be told when you buy the ticket, you know, because you got a really competitive price, that, oh, and by the way, we're going to charge you for walking onto the plane, and we're going to charge you for if you want to bring something other than a, you know, it's all these little extra things that they charge you for. So this will be kind of an interesting decision, and see if it sort of goes around the world. If Italy decides, yeah, you need to let people know very clearly that you're going to get charged if you bring more than just yourself.
A toothbrush. Yeah, I know. It is kind of sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, I think that wraps up for Travel News. Travel News is brought to you the internet website, www.atw.tv, the first place to go, even visit the last place on earth. When we come back, Bill Benjamin is going to be joining us, and we're going to learn all about traveling, maybe on the internet. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The Colossus of Rhodes, the Great Pyramid of Giza, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Just tune in to the award-winning travel show Around the World, live on Thursdays on AM 1290 and at www.atw.tv, with rebroadcasts on Thursdays at 8 p.m. and again on Saturdays at 10 a.m. for the only list that really stands out and can stand the test of time.
Sometimes people fall on hard times. There are lots of families in our community that can't afford to feed their families. That means kids go to school hungry, and their parents don't even know where the next meal will come from. The Unity Shop treats these families with respect, allowing them to shop in the free food store for stuff their families like and use.
Right now, we are desperately in need of funds to buy turkey and chicken for families who will go without this holiday season. If you can help, please go to unityshop.org.
And we're back here on Around the World. I'm Arthur von Wiesenberger and Martha Bull on the co-pilot seat. And we are flying today with one of the great travel professionals in the known universe. He's in studio with us today. We're very honored. He's a dear friend. Bill Benjamin. Hello, Bill. Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, glad to be here, Arthur. I'm not sure what I'm going to learn, but I'm willing to stick around for a few minutes and sort of, tune into this extravaganza of travel.
We're going to learn from you because you were in the world of travel and internet travel long before anybody even knew how to spell internet. I remember you had a company called Travel Data. right?
Yeah, Arthur, you've got a great memory.
Yeah, well, you
God,
told me that
I'm
at
really
lunch.
impressed. Oh,
today.
yeah.
Reminded me.
Yeah, that's why you picked up the check.
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew it. Nice going. Can we do it again tomorrow?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Little Japanese food.
Or how about Lucky's tomorrow
Uni.
night?
This is the only guy in the world I know who has uni for breakfast.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. He gets a whole box, you know.
We tried to do that today. We couldn't pull that off. Did we?
Couldn't quite get to it.
And
but
we're going
we
to be
tried.
talking later on about uni in Japan, because Japan.
I could
has-
come demonstrations, you know. How do you get an uni in each side?
Are you going to bring a fork with you, or a chopstick?
No, I just tamp it down. You know, no, it just goes down. Oh, so nice.
So Concierge Travel Metrics. Tell me how that started. What is the genesis behind it?
Okay, so this is the only commercial that we're going to have in this section. Okay, in this part of the business traveler traveled as you have all over the world for what, 200 or 300 years, I guess, something like that, and it was never entirely satisfactory. Always having problems. Either the guide Michelin was out of date, or I was out of date, or both, and that was really catastrophic. So I decided, gee, there ought to be a travel information service for business people. So some other friends of mine who traveled a lot, we got together, we said, okay, we can do this. So we set up Concierge Travel Metrics to produce an application called Business Travel. And I think now it's probably the only application website designed for business executives that lets them, in effect, plan their own travel.
So how would that differ from, say, there's all these other travel websites out there, and a lot of them are just booking services for airplane tickets or hotels and hotels.
You promised you weren't going to ask me this question.
You don't believe anything I promise.
Yeah. The difference is pretty dramatic, but it's not. You don't see it, etc. All of those sites were designed about 10, 15 years ago or more. They are all designed to drive transactions. So they only address a piece of the market. One of them, kayak or whatever it is, it will have just rental cars and hotels, maybe something else. So you have to go somewhere else if you really want to plan a complete travel. You want to know about the destination, you want to know about hotels, restaurants, activities, backup services, videos, etc., etc. And we have the whole 9 yards in one site for a change.
And do you have opinions? I mean, how do you know how to recommend?
Good question, Martha.
Thank you.
She does all the good questions. Me, top liver.
Yeah. We actually have a rating system that we invented and developed out at UCSB in the computer science department out there. A couple of very smart graduate students. It's called Consensus. And we take the opinions of a number of travel authorities. We weigh that, we give it a weighting. Like we'll give the New York Times a very high rating, or we'll give the Santa Barbara Press an even higher rating.
As it should.
As it should be. And then for a destination, we will take their opinions. We'll take Travel and Leisure, Condé Nast Traveler, local newspaper editor, restaurant critic, local newspaper travel writer, and all of those are weighted, put into an algorithmic calculator, and it grinds out an averaged opinion numerically, which we convert to 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, 2 stars. So it's the only really professional, opinion-driven rating system on the market today. We think it's the most accurate.
That's interesting.
That is.
Because, for example, Yelp, when you're looking at Yelp, you sort of disregard the 1 star because somebody had a bad experience, and you may also disregard the very
5 star.
best because you're going.
That's the owner, or their friends.
So,
and those people who are giving those opinions may have traveled one time this year to Paducah, Kentucky, and may have eaten in, one of the great hamburger joints, etc., and then they become instant travel authorities, and so they write this review. It means nothing, absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So it's like
nice, it's
a certain person characterizes fake news.
Right.
You know,
know
yeah.
about fake
But that's
news.
another day, right?
Yeah.
So, if people, when will people be able to actually acquire this service?
Well, we're trotting them out one destination at a time. We'll probably finish this off, I'd say, sometime in the next century. But it's going to be slow but sure.
Right. So what's the first destination?
The first destination is San Francisco.
Right.
Then we'll do the rest of California. We'll put together a California applications of all the major cities in California. Then slowly move across the states. We'll finally get to Europe at some point, which is my place. Yeah, the place I really love to travel to and with and in, and hope to compete with Michelin at that point.
Wow.
Well, that would be really
That would be
something,
good.
wouldn't it?
Yeah. Now, so you'll be talking in the overall picture, but I always think of a business application as somebody who's he's a short time frame. He's really got to maximize his work time and his play time. So are you going to kind of drill things down to help accommodate that kind of traveler, as opposed to the resort traveler?
Didn't think you'd ever ask. One of the other things we've done for the business traveler is put everything into what we call a dashboard tabular presentation. This means that we compress into a single table all the information you need to make an immediate decision. Then if you want more information, you can click on any one of the tabular headings, and you can go down one level to the website of the facility. You can call up a map. You can look at location data. You can look at the amenities spelled out, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like having a 3 or 4 layer little mini database for each type of facility within the application.
All there.
Very interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. If people want to follow up on this, where do they go to? How do they track you down?
Well, they can't really.
They can't get there.
They can't.
This is a non-promotion promotion.
No. We're keeping this a big secret. Maybe next year we'll have it. No. We will probably release San Francisco in its real version. It's still a prototype. I would say maybe this summer, followed by, in rapid succession, once a month, we'll put out a new destination each month.
How many people are involved in this?
Well, right now there's just a handful, but as we go into real production, probably have about 15 or 20 people, because we'll need an editor for each section.
Right.
And then as we move from city to city, then we have to go back, of course, each time. We have to revise it every 3 to 4 months, etc. So it's a big job.
Yeah,
but it's a lot of fun, because it's
doesn't
we're
love to
kind of
travel?
traveling, sitting there and traveling.
It's the best thing.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Now, I promised our viewers that you might give us a little nugget of interesting, tasty information about something in France recently. Can you share with us where you went and what you had?
Boy, well, my son and I took a 6-week trip. We started in Paris. We went down to the southwest. We went down to Biarritz, and we stayed for a week in Biarritz. And our hotel was run by this incredible lady who just knew everything. And for 5 straight nights, we went out to a different restaurant. We had at least 6 different types of oysters. We had foie gras frais, foie gras pâté, foie gras de Menure. Well, I would say that week will never exist again for anybody. It's a wonder that I'm still alive, as a matter of fact.
The cholesterol is
Well, my son loves foie gras, and you can't get it in this country really in the same form,
like
et cetera, et cetera.
Did you happen to have any of those little tiny baby eels that they serve in France and also in Spain? The angulas?
Deep fried in olive oil.
And aren't they amazing?
Incredible.
They look like pasta, except every piece of pasta has got 2 little eyes looking at you.
Okay.
But it's delicious.
Yeah.
It's
We
a great
went
luxury.
across the border into San Sebastian, which is, a great restaurant scene. It has more Michelin-starred restaurants than any other city in the world.
Okay, wow.
No, I think there's 4, 3-star. Well, anyway, and there we had what is it? You go to the little cafes and you have all the the tapas.
Yeah.
We had tapas till it ran out our ears.
How nice.
God,
Oh.
what a great city.
Well, we wish you lots of success with the Concierge Travel Metrics. And Bill, always a pleasure to have you on Around the World. Really appreciate it. Hope to have you back again soon.
Well, I hope so too, Arthur. I mean, 44 years between visits is just too much. You know, they've already forgotten me by now.
I was in a crib back then, though, right? You came to me in the nursery. All righty, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got a lot more travel here on Around the World. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The Unity Shop, celebrating 100 years of serving hard-working families on the path to self-sufficiency. Every single year, nearly 12,000 local children visit the school clothing and supply store at the Unity Shop. Then they get to go to school with new clothes, with all the school supplies they need, and most importantly, with dignity. And your support not only makes it possible, it's making our community the model of compassion and support. Find out more at unityshop.org.
Canaan of mine, friend for all time, so glad you're my best friend. Through thick and thin, we'll see things through. Canaan of mine, so true.
Get the A to Z on adoptable pets at animalzone.org.
Every morning you could count on it being there with the rise of the sun. We're proud to say we've been there every day with you. The Santa Barbara News Press plans to continue sharing the news of the day with you all through the year and beyond. It's nice to know there are some things you can still count on. The Santa Barbara News Press, serving Santa Barbara since 1855.
Konnichiwa, and welcome back to Around the World. I'm Arthur von Wiesenberger, Martha Bull in the co-pilot seat. We still have Bill Benjamin riding alongside back there in first class. He's serving drinks, I hope. We're going to be going to Japan next, and we're going to a fantastic destination that I went there to go skiing called Niseko. But getting there was half the fun. It really was, because we flew in, we left from Los Angeles International Airport, my son and I, and LAX is, LAX is LAX, but it's getting better all the time. And if you happen to be flying on Singapore Airlines, you are in for a treat, because Singapore is probably one of the finest carriers out there.
Did you fly out of Bradley Terminal?
I flew out of Bradley Terminal.
Okay.
It was from LAX to Tokyo.
Okay.
And it's
Non-stop.
It was a nice non-stop.
How
well,
many-
the only place you could stop is in the ocean, practically.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
There's not much out
You
there.
could stop in Hawaii,
That
right?
would.
You could stop in Hawaii,
But
but
why?
But what's great about LAX is they have this wonderful outdoor terrace that you can sit at now. I mean, they're really improving the airport. It's about time. Now they're going to be bringing, as you said last week on Travel News, they're going to bring in a tram to help.
They used to have that really nice restaurant and that big thing in the middle, and then it went downhill. They closed it, and I read recently they've reopened it. I don't know.
Oh, good.
Have you heard anything
I
about
have
it?
not heard that.
Yeah.
They have a lot of restaurants going into LAX. That some of them are good. Like they have Chaya brasseries there. Petrosian's got a caviar place there now.
Well, but that's to buy, isn't it?
That's to sit down and eat.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Ooh,
And Bradley Terminal.
I
you're gonna
love
like
their
it.
food.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah. There's some good stuff going on in LAX.
Well, I'm behind as usual.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, Singapore is an incredible airline. Now, if you're lucky enough to snag some first class seats, you will think you have died and gone to heaven. And in fact, on this particular flight, I didn't want it to land. I wanted it to continue flying because the seats are not like normal seats on an airplane. They're like little kind of settees.
Yeah.
I mean, you could sit. In fact, we did sit 2 people in 1 seat. That's how I could afford it.
Right.
No, no.
This is my little boy.
But there's Chris, and there is extra space there. Now that is a great seat, and that goes completely down and turns into a nice
Full-on
little
bed.
twin bed. It's amazing. The food is off the charts. It truly is off the charts. First thing they do is they come up and they say, "Would you like Dom Perignon or Krug champagne?" Now, I mean, what do you say to that guy? You say, "I'll take them all.
Yeah.
Can we just do blends?"
That's sacrilegious.
Honest to goodness, it was unbelievable. I mean, I've been treated well in my life, but this is about as good as it gets.
And it's Chinese or?
No, Singapore is from Singapore.
From Singapore.
Yeah.
So it's
very, very professional Asian service. Look
Is
at
that
caviar.
Oh my God.
Did you think even airplanes still served caviar?
No.
I mean, Air France was the last one to do that, and that was 1915, I think, something like that.
Yeah. It was when they were still having propellers, right?
Yeah, actually, they sort of pushed you through the sky with a little parachute. It was really fun. Yeah.
No, this is amazing. I mean, you get incredible meals. I had lobster. They had sushi if you wanted it. You can order your meal in advance, and they'll have it on the plane for you.
Had sushi.
They had sushi. They had
Is it-
uni.
Uni?
Yes, they did.
Did they make the sushi fresh, or was it?
Yeah.
Oh, it has to be
It was fresh. Yeah. And the lobster was delicious, and they have steaks if you want steak. I mean, it's really.
And you can eat whatever you want.
And you can
whenever
eat when you want.
Yeah, that's
you
nice.
go,
How long is the flight?
Sleep. It's like 11 hours.
How about the foot massage? I understand that they still do those?
You have to go back into economy and ask one of those passengers to do it for you.
Oh.
No, I'm only kidding.
So
look at that meal. There was something good.
There was
anyway.
a nice salad.
Yeah, they had great salads, great soups. I mean, the food was terrific. The service was great, and it really was one of those flights you go, please just circle a few more hours around. I don't need to get I mean, I wanted to
Who
get
wants
to
to go to Japan?
I was looking forward to going to Tokyo, but I really loved that plane. It was just the best. So we arrived in Tokyo, and I love Japan. I mean, truly, it's one of my favorite countries to travel to. And at the airport, and I didn't want to go into Tokyo because it's like $120 to take a cab into Tokyo.
Well, who wants to go to Tokyo anyway?
Oh, I love Tokyo, but
Really?
but if you wouldn't want to go in there for the night. Imagine if you went in there for the night and took a cab back. That's $240 just to
For the privilege of.
for the privilege of going to Tokyo. So instead, we stayed at the airport Hilton out there, which is in Narita, and it's a perfectly nice hotel. Which, by the way, has a sushi bar. Our kind of hotel, right, Bill? What do they have on the menu? Uni, of course. And they had all kinds of other great sushi and sashimi, and they had tempura, and it was great sake, like we were talking about earlier. When you have these really fine sakes, not hot sake, but they actually serve it cold because it's quality, right?
Well, it's like a great wine now.
Yeah.
They've refined sake to the point stuff is delicious.
Yes. And it's
really
expensive.
Well, oh my God, is it?
I mean, good
But
sake
good.
is. Who knew?
What is good?
But I noticed that some sake, which they seem to like a lot, tastes a little bit like old socks to me. Have you noticed that when you get that little stinky kind of taste of sake?
Yeah, I just, you know.
You like that?
Well,
You like old
I
socks.
just hold my nose and go ahead, go for it.
It's like eating raclette.
You know, some things you have this as a learned experience. You know, you get used to it after a while.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't like beer when we first started drinking it.
I still don't like beer that much, but
Well,
it's not my drink.
think about spinach and things like that.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You know, even earlier.
Yeah.
You and Popeye. So anyway, we had a great meal at the hotel. Slept the night. Next morning, got up and got onto ANA, All Nippon Airlines. We were talking about ANA. You should try your crackers right there. She's got crackers that came off the airplane.
We're going to have them afterwards.
ANA runs a service from Tokyo to Sapporo. It's about an hour and a half flight. Another way you can do it is you can actually take the train.
The bullet. Is there a bullet? Or
Yes, and it goes under the water. And you can go all the way to Niseko from Tokyo in 4 hours.
Wow.
So it's a really great option if you don't want to fly. I like flying. It was a beautiful day. Look at how pretty Sapporo looked, even though it was a little bit snow covered. It was a beautiful day to fly into Sapporo.
What altitude is Sapporo?
Sapporo's at ground ocean. That was
And there was
the sea.
snow on the ground?
Yeah, it's cold. It's cold up there. There's a lot of snow.
That's just wrong.
That's where they make
Hokkaido.
all the great beer.
Yeah.
It has
Yeah.
to be cold.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Rockies.
Yeah.
And that was where they were having the Sapporo Snow Festival, which is the big event that takes place this time of the year. By the way, I stopped at the airport, ran into Van Baesham's son.
Oh, how
What are the chances? And we went and had some ramen at the airport. They have a lot of little restaurants at Sapporo. Any case, there was a Sapporo Snow Festival going on, which is this amazing event that's been going on since I think in the 1950s. They carve huge mountains of snow and ice into these sculptures, and it's just awe-inspiring. And you wonder how could they do it? And of course, it all melts when the sun comes out at the end of the summer, or whenever it gets warm. It doesn't get warm in Sapporo. It was the coldest day of the year when I was there.
They had the Olympics there. The
Yes, in
Winter
1972.
Olympics. Yeah, 72.
Yeah, that's right.
Good memory.
Yeah. So and then from Sapporo we took the train. We actually took a bus going, and we took a train back up to Niseko. Now Niseko is about a couple hours southwest of Sapporo, and it's very close to the Sea of Japan, and it is an amazing place. When I went there with your husband 10 years ago.
Was it 10?
10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. We went there with a bunch of guys to go skiing because we'd heard it was great powder skiing. That is absolutely the truth. It's the most amazing powder skiing I've seen anywhere on the planet. And imagine if you can go powder skiing and then you come in and have some sushi and then go back out and ski. I mean, is that not a great combination? Granted, I also want some warm water. It was cold. I mean, you're talking about snow every day. I mean, it's snowing certainly at night, and most of the days it snows. Occasionally you get a bluebird day when the blue sky opens up for a minute, but what you're there to do is ski in the powder, and you've got powder coming over your head.
Wow.
Do they have Japanese inns in the ski resorts? The old-fashioned, what do they call? I can't remember now the name of it.
Yeah,
Ryokan, I guess. Yeah.
I think they do.
That turned me on when I was there. I just had a great experience.
I think they do have those in Niseko and the surrounding areas. I ended up actually just raclette. There's something you would never imagine seeing in Japan, in Niseko, Japan. They had raclette. They served the melted cheese on top of the potatoes.
Well,
that was in one of That was one of the restaurants.
Well, that's a ski dish.
It is, and it's great.
Europe,
Yeah.
I
It's great
love
when
it.
it's cold.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Next to the fire, dripping down from the.
And they had fondue as well. I mean, you're in Japan and you're eating Swiss melted cheese.
Oh wow!
It's pretty amazing.
I love that stuff.
The hotel that I stayed at was there's the fondue right there. The hotel I was staying at was the Hilton Niseko Village, which is a really terrific hotel built in 2008. It's kind of a space sage looking thing. We're going to show it on the video after the break. But it's a ski in ski out hotel, which is terrific. You literally walk out the lobby door and right onto the lift, and it takes you right up to the top of the mountain.
That's wonderful.
And this Mount Yotai, that's a volcano. You don't ski it, although I met some guys who had. But it's the most dramatic mountain. You just sort of sit there and look at that. That's obviously near sunset. But it's just beautiful. I mean, you really feel like you're in another world. And there are no conifers. There's just birch trees.
And it's beautiful.
So you're skiing between the birch
shimmering
trees.
leaves of the.
No, those are aspens.
Aspen.
But no, these don't have any leaves on them at all. They just have tough
They're
bark.
very dramatic.
In case you
looking.
happen to run into one.
The white bark,
Right.
kind
Yeah.
of, you know.
Yeah. What we'll do is we'll take a break, and when we come back, we've got this terrific video of skiing in Niseko,
Here,
Japan.
I'll pat you on the back
Thank
for
you
that.
very much.
Okay.
I'll do it too. Thank you. We'll be right back after these words.
Bonjour Alex.
Bonjour Renaud.
Happiness? It's great food prepared the French way.
Chocolate eclair.
What makes you happy?
A touch of Paris.
Without the trip to France. Handcrafted daily in our bakeries, especially for you. Indulge yourself.
Bon appétit.
Please visit Renault's in Gelston, Santa Barbara, Long Beach, and La Cañada, Flint Ridge.
And we are back here on Around the World. We're going to be going to Japan. Now, this is a video that shows you what it's like to go to Niseko and ski. We're also going to show you a little bit of Sapporo and some of the ice festivals. So let's roll the video.
Hokkaido is a northern island in Japan, with its principal city being Sapporo, and was home to the Winter Olympics in 1972. The day we were there, it was the coldest day in 40 years, where the daytime high reached minus 10.1 degrees. It was a good day to visit the Nijo fish market, if you like your fresh fish slightly frozen. After seeing all that potential sushi, it was only natural to go to Toriton Sushi, one of the best in town. Although it's got a conveyor belt sushi delivery system, it's easy to order favorites such as snow crab, toro, and the spectacular local sea urchin. The Sapporo Snow Festival began in 1950, and today is a major winter event. It is the site of the International Snow Sculpture Contest, with teams competing from across the globe. An estimated 2 million visitors come to see the almost 200 ice sculptures, both big and small. The epic snow destination Niseko is about a 2-hour train ride southwest from Sapporo. Niseko is one of the snowiest ski resorts in the world, with an average snowfall of 600 inches, known as Japao. The season runs from November to May. In January, it averages 6 inches a day, or almost 15 feet. The Hilton Niseko Village, which opened in 2008, is a 5-star ski-in and ski-out resort with 8 restaurants and a natural hot spring.
We are in Niseko Village, heading up Morino Chair, and we've got a lot of fresh snow out there. Sushi Japanese restaurant at the Hilton Niseko Village, there was an enticing promotion. All the sushi you can eat at lunch in 1 hour for only $28. It didn't include delicacies like uni, but it did include some delicious options. Imagine the combination of phenomenal powder skiing with fantastic sushi right on the slopes. Even with all that snow, one can still occasionally get a bluebird day. The precipitation from the Sea of Japan is swept up with the frigid winds from Siberia, creating a champagne powder to rival the best of the Rockies. This is a powder wonderland. On a bluebird day, morning breakfast is an early affair, although it's hard not to take a little time to savor the view of Mount Yotai, a prominent, inactive volcano that resembles Mount Fuji.
One more chair. One more this and then one more chair. Okay. And this is a single chair. Single chair. Yeah.
I remember the single chair.
We call it a pizza box chair.
Pizza box. Hey Chris, is that a Domino's pizza box?
Rusty's.
So here we are, going to the top of Annapurna. This is an amazing mountain, not a volcano. That's a volcano behind me, but this is a mountain, and it just opened, and it's lots of fresh powder in the back bowls. Can't wait.
The last 20 minutes is a hike from the pizza box chair to the summit, which is a mere 4,265 feet. With the bright sun and lots of fresh powder, this is skiing nirvana. Skiing between the birch trees seduces one into a false sense of security. One wrong turn or a misjudged distance could spell disaster. These trees are unforgiving, and unlike conifers, have no pine needle branches which could help soften a run-in. This is skiing for experts, and on a fresh powder day, there's no shortage of experts. And the reward for a little challenge is some of the most spectacular powder skiing on the planet. Soon to open is the impressive Park Hyatt Niseko in Hanazono. The ski-in, ski-out hotel will have approximately 100 guest rooms and 100 residences. Across from the hotel is Restaurant Asperge, featuring Michelin 3-star chef Nakamichi. This fine dining restaurant features delicate soups, fresh local oysters, creative sushi wraps with fresh seafood, greens, exotic spices, as well as grilled meat served with a creamy mashed potato. And for a finale, a refreshing fruit-flavored mousse. If the experts are all out on the powder runs, one can sometimes find solitude right on the wide-open groom piece, which are very impressive. From the top of the chairlift in Hanazono, there's a stunning run to the resort base, which gives one a chance to gain some speed, test out the carving ability of both a snowboard or skis. The Silver Dream Run has a great mix of terrain from steep and fast to more mellow cruising. Near the bottom of the run is the fun part, with a competition halfpipe and some of the best jumps in Niseko. House of Powder celebrates the greatest powder party in Japan by taking guests up a private mountain by snowcat to ungroomed powder runs. Several snowcats operate throughout the day, ensuring that there are plenty of runs for everyone. There are cleared runs from when the mountain had a ski lift, but there are also tree-rich runs with large banks and gullies offering exciting terrain.
So we're just going to bomb down this main open run. There's some thin trees at the bottom before the cat track, so they'll slow you down, and then you want to take that cat track out to the left. Later on the day, these trees over here are nice and open, pretty good fun. These ones are a little bit tighter, but also great. Yeah, so first run, we're just going to go down here and follow that cat track out. Have fun.
This is heaven on earth. Skiing somewhere in the middle of Japan. Not a soul to be seen. Just the snow coming down, these amazing birch trees, and yeah, it's about as good as it gets.
That was the day.
All right, so are you ready to go?
Wow.
I want to bring my skis. Let's take off. I'm ready to go right back. I love Niseko. I love Japan. And what else can I say but domo arigato. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we've got more on Around the World. Stay tuned.
The Unity Shop, celebrating 100 years of guiding low-income families to self-sufficiency. In times of disaster, no one responds to families in need like the Unity Shop. Immediate assistance with food and clothing, and long-term assistance providing anything disaster victims need to get back on their feet, all with compassion, with dignity, for as long as you need us. To find out more, log on to unityshop.org.
Canaan of mine, friend for all time. So glad you're my best friend. Through thick and thin, we'll see things through. Canaan of mine, so true.
Get the A to Z on adoptable pets at animalzone.org.
Around the world, we are going all over the place, and you know what? If skiing in Japan wasn't enough, how about if we go somewhere completely different and go and ski in Turkey? And there's one guy on this planet who goes to the most exotic, unusual places in the world. He is a true nomad. In fact, he runs GoNomad.com. It's Max Hartshorne. Hello, Max.
Hello, good to be with you guys again, and we're both off for our skiing adventures all around the world, aren't we?
We are indeed, and when you said you went skiing in Turkey, I went, who knew they even had snow in Turkey?
Yeah, honestly, I felt the same way when I got the invitation. It said skiing in Turkey, and it turns out there's several ski resorts in Turkey. There's about, I think there's actually 8 or 10. But we were in the center of Turkey. We started out by flying to Kayseri, which is an airport in the middle of Turkey, just about in the middle, and there's a big volcano. And that volcano is Mount Erciyes, and that's about 14,000-foot mountain, and that's where you get the skiing, on the volcano. Fortunately, it's no longer an active volcano.
Fortunately.
That's some serious elevation, 14,000 feet. Do you go all the way up to the top?
Yeah, well, I didn't because it was very windy. But basically, here's the proportionate to give you some perspective. Snow mass at Aspen, which is one of the biggest mountains in Aspen, is about a 5,000-foot vertical drop. The vertical drop is about 4,700 at Mount Erciyes if you were to go to the very top. So you get a long ride down. It's great, And the main advantage of this is when we look at the video, you'll see there's not one tree to be found within 100 miles of this place.
Wow. So the resort itself, is it at the base of the volcano, or is it somewhere further away?
Yeah, at the base of the volcano, and what they've done is, interestingly, Turkey really doesn't have much of a winter sports tradition. They don't have very many skiers. They had about 1% of the population even skis. But the city of Kayseri got together and got some serious money, 400 million euros together, and they brought over Austrian ski lifts and Austrian instructors and really gave them the entire lesson on how to start a world-class ski area, and it really is a world-class ski area.
How long is their season? When does it begin and end?
I think it's very similar to our seasons. It starts in the fall, late fall, and goes into the spring. I don't think they have anything like really long spring like the way we might see in some of the places like Utah. Standard, similar winter to we were there was a lot of snow. And what's neat about the ski area at Kayseri, you can see the pictures of Kayseri, kind of a grim Soviet-looking town, but it's not really a Soviet town. It's a neat town. It's about 50 minutes from Cappadocia.
Oh, that would be an adventure going there. Yeah,
and that's the best thing you could do in Turkey besides the wonders of Istanbul is Cappadocia with the wonderful brown hills, just crazy looking place, and everybody loves Cappadocia.
Right. Now, so if you're, and I would imagine you're this far south of the Alps, you probably have longer days too in Turkey than you would up in the European Alps.
Well, I think it was similar, closed at 4 and it started around 8:30, so pretty similar. But a couple of things that were pretty neat about Mount Erciyes, the lift tickets. I don't know how much the lift tickets are in yen, but the lift tickets at Mount Erciyes are $10.
Oh my God. Boy, you can't even buy a coffee in most ski resorts for $10.
$170 at Aspen.
$170 in Aspen. Wow. And $10.
Well, you can ski at a place with no trees and hardly any people, and it costs you $10. And then if you want to rent all the equipment, it's $9.
Oh my goodness.
My gosh. How many runs are there? Is it a big ski area or is it just a few runs?
I'd say that it's a medium-sized ski area, Arthur. Not as big as the ones we've seen in the Alps and stuff, but you still have a lot of choices. The thing is, they've sort of got rudimentary trails because the lack of trees. They just put giant trails coming down. So I'd say the run is nice. I liked it. I liked that there was no moguls. I'm not a big mogul skier. I'm 60 years old. I don't want to go over the moguls anymore. And so it's very smooth. It's a smooth ride. I bet your Martha would like this ski.
Yeah, I definitely would like that.
I like it too at this point in my life.
You're not a mogul guy either?
I've always hated moguls. I never knew what the appeal was of those.
Like them.
Me too.
If you're skiing down these mountains, are there little cute cafes or stubidis to have a little warming up drink, or does that not happen in Turkey?
Well, now the drink thing. Now you're in Turkey, my friend. So get that out of your head.
Okay.
You're going to get some drinks, but you're going to have to go to the special hotel to find the alcohol. And when you're aiming for the mosque on your way down, you kind of get the picture. So you look for the mosque, and that's how you find the lodge, and then you keep going to the right, and you find a bar that actually sells booze, but it's not as frequent or common as we would have liked in that part of Turkey.
Yeah, I guess one doesn't think about it. You're in a
It's like going to Disneyland.
Country.
You don't get booze there either.
Right, that's true. Although you do in France. So we looked at some nice looking food. How was the food there? Was it as good?
The food in Turkey is spectacular, I have to say. Fresh. They love grilled lamb, grilled chicken, pistachios, wonderful fruits. They did have a great wine tradition. They do a lot with shish kebabs and stuff like that. We really enjoyed the food a lot in Turkey. It was very fresh, and just everywhere we went, the food was great.
Yeah.
We gotta say, Cappadocia again. Cappadocia is about an hour away from Mount Erciyes, so you could actually combine a trip to Cappadocia and see some of those cave houses and ancient buildings and these weird brown hills, which I hope you show some pictures of that later because it's just a dramatic place, and that's right near Mount Erciyes, so you could do two things at once.
Wow. Cool. What about hotels? Where did you stay and how was it?
It was a really nice hotel we stayed actually in the city of Kayseri. We would have stayed, when we were in Cappadocia, we stayed in a cave hotel, which is fantastic, an actual hotel carved into a cave. Wow. From the 8th century. But in Kayseri, it was a traditional Hyatt type of a chain hotel. So very modern and fine and not expensive. Nothing really in Turkey is that expensive. I do want to give one shout out, though, to my friends at Flow Tours. They organized this trip for me. That's FLOTOURS. Flow Tours has great trips to the ski places like this. They also can take you to Central Asia, Japan. So Flow Tours out of Florida, I really give them major props. They did a great job with this as a small group tour.
That's great. Did you feel safe while you were in Turkey with all the unrest that's going on?
Interesting. You know, I did feel safe, and the people were so receptive and so friendly. I got a lot of pushback from people, though, like talking about it. And I think they have a situation a little similar to us, is that there's the chief executive of Turkey is trying to push them into this direction of being much more Islamic. And I think many Turks just want to be more modern. They don't want to be pushed around and pushed back into the 15th century where you put headscarves on everybody, nobody gets to have any cocktails. You know, I think that there's a real, we've been there, we've done that. And so there's a lot of pushback to the people in Ankara who are trying to push this sort of agenda on the people of Turkey, who are a fun-loving bunch of people who love traveling and love having their rakia and their wines and so forth, just like anybody else.
And nice rugs, too.
Yeah, they do.
And fantastic carpets, yes.
Yeah, beautiful.
Unlike Putin, who likes to display his prowess for all sorts of exercise, I don't think Erdogan is going to be skiing anytime soon.
Okay.
What do you think?
I don't know. Tell me, Max, when you went there, how many days would you say is the right amount of time to ski the mountain and see it all, but then move along?
Yeah, I'd say that, I would give it a couple of days of skiing, a couple of days in Cappadocia, and of course a couple of days in the grand, wonderful city of Istanbul. Have you been to Istanbul, Arthur?
Oh, I love Istanbul. It's amazing.
Isn't it just a romantic, sultry city of all time? It's just the best, isn't it?
It's terrific. It really is. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. So here's the way I would lay it out. The way I would do it, a flow tours, the way they set it up was a couple of days in Istanbul, fly to Kayseri, ski for a couple of days, then spend a couple of days in the cave houses and maybe take a balloon flight over Cappadocia, and then maybe if you want to be a little more ambitious, go back to Istanbul, because there's certainly a lot to do in Istanbul, more than a couple of days. But what a great place. Turkey, I say Turkish Air is fantastic. They'll actually fly your skis and your boots and your poles for free. Wow. If you're going from the United States and you're going to Kayseri, they really want that business.
Wow,
that's nice
terrific
to know.
I'm sure, and I hope you have all this up on your website, gonomad.com.
Right, you can read an article about the skiing in Turkey, see some more photographs, and see some videos of some of that skiing.
It looks spectacular, Max, and we really appreciate you sharing it with us today on Around the World. And want to know where you're going to go skiing next. I guess the season...
Well, the ski season's over in New England. As you know, we're getting to the end now. So my next trip, I'm going to France. I'm going to Lille and Versailles and Rheims, France. So I'll have some information for you about that when I come back.
Can't wait. Well, bon voyage, and thanks so much, Max, for joining us on Around the World today.
Okay, talk to you next time.
Right
Bye-bye.
on. Take care.
Thanks, Max.
Bye-bye. Wow. Well, I can't believe it, but it's time to cool our jets after all this. And it's been such a fun ski trip today. I know. Between skiing in Japan and skiing in Turkey just now, and of course going with Bill Benjamin out to check out all the latest in travel information.
Right.
And
a little bit about France.
And a little bit of foie gras in France. That's not bad. Well, we hope you all had a good trip with us. We really want to thank our team here at Around the World, our wonderful director, Michael Nicholson, our editor, Ken Baxter, and of course all the folks at TVSB that make Around the World a possibility. We'll see you next time. In the meantime, wish you happy trails.
Thank you for traveling with us today on Around the World. We hope you'll join us for another adventure next week. In the meantime, all of us at Around the World wish you happy trails.